Welcome to the Macdownunder Podcast for all Australian Apple computer enthusiasts and collectors.
Well, welcome to episode 2 of the Macdownunder Podcast. My name's Justin, and thank you to all of those people that tuned in last week for episode 1 and for all the comments that we've received. Don't forget to comment down below under this video to help us improve into episode 3 and beyond. In this episode, we're going to talk about the distances we've travelled to collect Apple stuff, recent eBay and marketplace finds, and some coming events. So hello to my co-host Matthew. Welcome back. You survived episode 1. How are you?
G'day, JD. Yeah, I'm really well here. Thank you. Thanks for having me back. It's great to be here.
Fantastic. Any recent purchases or sales from the Mac Museum?
No recent purchases, but I did make a sale recently of a fully restored Classic 2, which happened to go to someone very locally, just down the road, which was fantastic. A young chap wanted to get started with his vintage Mac journey, so I was delighted to see him pick that one up, which was great.
Fantastic.
Yes, no, he was pretty chuffed. How about for you, Justin? Any recent purchases?
Well, yes. I've just come back from Bendigo in regional Victoria. I spent the weekend there chasing a cheap Apple iSight camera in box, which was great. And I got I know we weren't going to talk about Intel, but I got a Core i5 Mac Mini. But the special thing about this Mini is it's the server variety. And whilst you can't tell the difference from the outside, when you actually do the About This Mac, it actually comes up as the server. So I needed to have one of those in the collection. But anyway, that's enough about Intel. It's a great segue because it did get me to thinking as I was driving back that maybe something to talk about today is how far people go to collect Apple products. And we know from the Facebook chats and other things that there are Australians that have travelled far and wide, even overseas, to collect their Apple stuff. But Matt, we've had some chats about this. How far have you travelled to pick up some Mac hauls?
I think the longest sort of round trip that I've done recently has been an 8-hour return journey, sort of north towards the Victorian border. That was to pick up my Apple III, so it was absolutely worth travelling the time to get there. That takes up the whole day, so you're really committing when you're going to do that. And I was also really happy to not only just picking up the Apple III, but ended up coming home with about half a dozen other compact Macs and a Mac Portable as well, which was good. So
definitely worth 8 hours in the car.
It made it a lot more worthwhile. Yes, that's all right, exactly. So I have to say that's probably caps out my my biggest journey that I've made. But tell us about yours, Justin, because I know it exceeds the 8 hours.
It's only happened recently, and obviously we've talked about this. So so earlier this year, a friend of ours, David, over in WA, advertised that he had 2 compact Macs, the education editions from Europe, a Mac Plus education edition, and a 512 education edition. And that they're quite rare. Well, they're very rare in Australia. You've got to import them. So I decided I'd buy them, and because of their age and the fact that it's the case plastics that actually make the difference, I decided to do a road trip to Perth to collect these 2 apples, and my poor suffering wife came with me. And according to Google Maps, it was a 3,366 kilometre journey, probably a little bit longer than that the way we went, but nevertheless, according to Google Maps. So great to meet David face to face. We'd met online, 20 years ago, but hadn't actually met face to face. So wonderful to meet him and his family and see his collection that he's slowly parting with. On my way back, so I got some extra accessories actually off David, and on my way back, picked up an X-Serve that was relatively cheap in Perth at the time as well. So it was quite extreme, and it sort of turned into a family holiday as well. So, best of both worlds to a degree: Apple collecting and a holiday on the way across to Perth and back.
Oh, wow, that is a huge distance to have travelled, but worth it for something that you can't get here in Australia. So to have been able to get them, I think that's great.
For everyone watching, please put your own experiences down in the comments. How far have you travelled to collect your favourite Apple collectibles? We'd love to hear. Now on to recent news. There's still lots of chatter I see on the internet about WWDC that's just been held last week. We covered it last week, but lots of chatter about the new GUI, Apple Intelligence, and other things. But from a collecting point of view, I don't think there's been much, so we might move on. And the first eBay find we've got today is another Apple IIe. We had one last week, which was the Platinum Edition. This one's earlier. This is the Beige Edition 2e. I think also provided or put for sale by a friend of the show here in Victoria, and looks to be in fantastic condition. Have you had a look, Matt?
Beautiful. No, it is. It looks really, really nice and clean. And again, knowing where this has come from, the seller of this one, you can expect it's going to be a really good quality product. The restoration work that is done on this would be second to none, I'm sure. It looks really schmick.
Yeah, given the age of it, it's not too surprising that there's a little bit of extra yellowing on some of the bits, but it looks very clean. And yes, as you say, we know the credentials of the restoration. And even in the listing, they mentioned that they're listing it as 4 parts are not working. It clearly is. It's passed its tests, as you can see there on the screen. And the seller said if someone's picking this up, they're happy to demonstrate it actually working, but being sold as parts. Includes the computer and the 80-column 64K card. And it's available for buy it now at 1100 or best offer. So take a look. All right, next one, boxed.
Box.
Boxed. Macintosh Performer 200, also recapped. Comes with lots of accessories, so it all looks complete. Even the Apple
Oh, wow.
stickers. It clearly works. Heaps of stuff and boxed. So, of course, this is the Performer 200, which is the Mac Classic by another name. But as far as I'm aware, not released in Australia. And so the vendor here is asking $18.99. So 1,899 for this boxed item is pretty rare. So again, for the right person, for the collector that wants boxed stuff, this is probably very appealing. Probably not so much for me. It's a bit out of my price range. But for the right person, looks to be in fantastic condition.
Yeah, that's having all the accessories there, the accessory kit. Looks like the keyboard's still got its plastic bag that it came in as well.
Yes,
That's really, really impressive. And the box looks pretty, pretty good nick as well. So
it does.
bit of tape there on the top, but not terrible. So what state is this one in, Justin?
Banyule, it's in Victoria in northern Melbourne.
Oh, okay, very cool.
So local for us. But again,
Mm.
the trick here is that it's been imported. These weren't on sale here, I'm pretty sure. So this has probably been imported from the US or potentially Europe. But yeah, pretty rare. So there you go.
Very nice.
Next, we've got another boxed iMac. Now, this is a tray load. So this is the second generation. If you take Bondi Blue as the first. But the tray load generation G3 iMac. Again, also looks really nice, and again in
Beautiful.
box, $5.99 box. But again, that box in the background, it's got the original keyboard and mouse. So
Lovely.
of course, this is the color-coded mouse from that generation. Again, the back of it looks pretty good. No scuffs or scrapes or texture marks.
It's
And
got the door for the little on the side there intact, which is good to see as well. Where the
there it
cables.
is, where the cable goes in. Yep.
Yep, the IO door. Yeah, nice.
And the usual manuals and Looks like it comes with an external USB floppy drive. So there you go, which this thing didn't come with, of course. They dropped the floppy
Right.
drive for the iMac G3.
Nice little bonus.
Oh, there's a serial
Matching
number.
serials.
So you can even look that up too if you wanted to. How's that?
Very
So
cool.
there we go, another boxed iMac. So lots of them around at the moment, I notice, and all similar sorts of prices. So that's good to see. The next item that we've got on the list is a bit of a weird one. This is an Apple IIc disk port adapter.
I've never seen this.
No, I think it's been made by the seller just because of the description that they've got. So it's for the Apple IIc, 2GS, or there's also an Apple IIe DB19 floppy controller card, the 5.25-inch floppy controller card. And what this will do, it plugs into those 19 dB ports and allows you to connect your Disk 2 drive that comes with a 20-pin cable. So handy if you've got one of those 19-pin ports and you want to use your Disk 2. Which certainly that fits me. So I might be interested in one of these.
Very cool.
Yeah, so last one available apparently at 19.90. So he's only had three, or the person's only had three for sale. So reasonably rare from that point of view, but what a handy little gadget to have if you're into Apple IIs and have lots of Disk 2 disk drives. An item off Marketplace this time, and whilst it does look a little used, I just thought, it's a bit interesting, and for the Apple collector, it's definitely something that you don't see in Australia that often. So there you go. It's a rare vintage 1980s Apple logo umbrella, very much used. Available from Adelaide for $200. Matt, is this the sort of thing you'd perhaps clean up and put in the museum?
I've actually got an umbrella here,
Oh,
which was
have
given
you?
to me by, yeah. So I've actually got an umbrella very similar to that. It's black, but it's very similar when I was having a look at some of the other ways that's been built. It was given to me by the dealer principal of a reseller that was here close by to me. So it's got some, got a bit of a story behind it as well. But I reckon for anyone in Melbourne in particular, as winter sets in, this would be a great addition to someone's collection. So,
You're
have
saying
you
it
got
rains
one,
in
Justin?
Melbourne?
Oh yes. Have you got an umbrella in your collection, Justin?
No, I don't have an umbrella. Yeah, not something I would probably look for, but there's plenty of people out there that would. Again, probably needs a bit of a clean up by the looks of things, but people with the right skill, there you go. Apple umbrella available in
Very
Australia.
cool.
Okay, into upcoming events. One that we didn't cover last week is the Australian WasFest. Now, I've got to say, I actually didn't know this one was around, but found pointers to it on the internet. And the next WasFest, which is held in a local home, so you need to check out the website, register to get the details. But it's the next one's on the 26th of July, so a couple of weeks to go. But for those in Australia, likely to be in Sydney around the 26th of July, WasFest to talk about Apple II things is coming up. Have you been to a WasFest, Matt?
No, I've been asked this before as well by someone internationally, asked me if I'd been able to get along. So I haven't. I would like to one day. I'm not too sure if I can make this one, but hopefully I get the chance one day to get along. So would be very cool. Yeah, it would be very cool to get to.
Particularly in Australia, to talk about Apple II. Kansas Fest, we mentioned last week. The ticker's still going. So if you're interested in Canvas Fest, again, this is an online event from July 18 to July 20. The Canberra Vintage Computer Enthusiasts, we mentioned this last week as well, Saturday the 19th of July. So again, it's coming up soon, being held in Canberra. Last week you talked about you've got it in your diary, Matt, to see if you can get there. Any advances on that?
I do nothing more towards getting there, but it's there. So keeping front of mind for me.
And another new one that I found on the interwebs is the Adelaide Retro Computing Group. And what do you know? There's a compact Mac. Can't quite work out whether it's a 128 or a 512, but it doesn't matter. It's a Mac. So clearly they've got an interest in Macs. It's being held in the Unley Community Centre in South Australia, $10, and it's on the second Friday of the month. So the next one being the 11th of July from 5:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. We
Right.
must get across to one of those too, Matt.
Yes, I've got family connection in Unley, coincidentally, so that would be great. I'd love to get there as well one day.
And last but definitely not least, and also the upcoming next event is the Mac Museum Open Day on the 5th of July, Matt.
Yes, get down there. You can catch Justin and I there on the 5th. Love to see you there.
It'd be great to see people there. And to everybody else, if you've got an event coming up that involves Apple or Macintosh computer equipment, please let us know through the comments or otherwise, and happy to promote your Apple-related event. Well, that's the end of our second episode, Matt. Gee, it's flying.
All right.
In this slightly shorter format, we've seen the feedback in terms of people's views, so hopefully this fits people's needs a bit better. And again, we appreciate any comments below to help us improve. So yeah, we'll be back next week. So like and subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Anything else coming up in your space, Matt?
No, I've cleaned up the Mac Museum workshop recently, so that gives me a great opportunity to get back into some restorations and get a few more machines up for sale as well. So I'm looking forward to getting into that in the next week or so. So what about for you, Justin? Anything on the horizon?
No, I'm just chasing down the last couple of mice that I've been trying to add to the collection, Apple mice that is, and I've got a couple that are coming in from overseas to flesh out the collection, but we'll talk about that at a future episode, I'm sure.
Very good. Look forward to it.
All right, well, thanks again, everybody, for joining us today. We'll see you again next week. Take care.
Cheerio.
Thanks for joining the Macdownunder Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon.